and welcome to the next session with the title Living Longer, Living Better with a Longevity-Focused Approach. I am honored to have guests here on stage and order Dr. Nicole, the CEO Institute for Healthy Living, Dr. Iman Itani, founder of Lure Aesthetic Clinic Dubai, and Professor Dr. Anna Baroni, medical advisor and medical advisor at Pure Health. So before any other introductions or after other introductions, I'm going to dive straight into the questions. And I'm going to address my first question to Dr. Nicole. So we would like to learn more from you with regards to the healthcare systems and how this system thinking to shift from the reactive, disease-centric model to proactive, preventive-focused approach that promotes healthy living.
Great, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I think the systems thinking approach is one that we want to be able to apply into the health system, just like we want to be able to apply it into the human body. And what longevity medicine is doing is actually using that systems approach. So how does the heart and the lung and the kidney all work together to help keep you healthy? And what are the root causes of that aging process? And in the health system, we have to do the same thing. And one of our main problems is that we have people, we have doctors, we have nurses, we have patients, we have technology, and we have the economics of it all. And those three don't always have the same incentives, and they're not aligned to help achieve what we ultimately want, which is health for people. And so thinking about the systems approach to prevention can really help us pinpoint what it is in our health system that we need to fix. So at the Institute for Healthier Living Abu Dhabi, this is what we're focused on. We're hoping to be able to bring patients clinical care that right now that they can utilize right now, which includes how do we take that systems approach to their own health to keep them healthy. And within the health system, we're really very blessed to be able to work with partners in the Department of Health and others in the UAE government to think about how do you look at the population from a risk perspective. We have genomic data, we now have phenotypic data, as we said. So what do those people look like in their lives, their environment, their lifestyle, other diseases? And we can say this is the whole population. And this group right here, we know is at high risk for disease. How do we then take that group in high risk for disease and put them through a randomized clinical trial that shows that a different approach will actually keep them healthier and will help save the system money? So this is how we are using that systems thinking to help solve some of those complex problems in our health system here in the UAE.
Wonderful. That's a great and extensive response. So in the Institute of Healthier Living, the focus would be technically to put a system in place that would prove that when we have individuals with a health risk, which is degenerative disease probably, we will be having a system to prevent and improve their health.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because we need to prove the model in the system with real people. I think one of our challenges is we have a lot of technology that exists and a lot of exciting, very innovative, emerging things coming out of biotech. And we have our health system, and we have a lot of sick people. The UAE we diagnose heart disease 10 years earlier than North America. We have some of the highest diabetes and obesity rates. We know all these statistics. Those are sick people that need help now. And in order to help change the system, to bring those technologies in, bring the precision medicine piece in, bring the AI piece in, we have to apply that systems thinking to think about how can we then identify the risk for individuals and put them through a different program of approaching their health.
Amazing. So I'm going to shift with my question to Dr. Anna. on the longevity, of course. So what are the recent advancements in longevity medicine that you have identified, and how they can improve the health and the outcome of the individuals?
Good afternoon. I want to first congratulate the team Invisible behind this fantastic event. Thank you for inviting us and bring the opportunity of this initiative. To answer your question, I will oversimplify a list of interventions that are proven that can reduce up to 10 years the biological age being conservative. For instance, the number one is epigenetic reprogramming, led by Aldo's lab, where Jeff Bezos invests, that is fully in research now. Gene therapy also has a high impact, but is not yet in the clinic. There are lots of ongoing clinical trials. One really important is about targeting clotogene. The trial is going to have the outcomes soon. Next year, probably we will have surprises in that. There are other interventions like repurposing drugs, including rapamycin, senolytics, metformin, GLP-1. All these ongoing trials need to provide more information about the long-term side effects and efficacy in healthy individuals. Nutraceuticals like NAD boosters are also interesting, led by research of Professor David Sinclair. Therapeutic plasma exchange, which is removing up to 80% of plasma and substitute with albumin, has a high impact in research both in animals and humans. Caloric restriction is interesting, but is challenging the adherence in the long term. Exercise is an amazing intervention, top for everyone, accessible. There is 0 non-responders. Everyone respond, improving all the biological markers after exercise. The challenge is that not everyone is consistent, as it's necessary for that. So to comment on 2 new insights, I can mention the current shift in the fundamental knowledge to understand and intervene in the longevity space, which is shifting from biochemistry to synthetic biology to physics. Another new insight can be the technology that uses the simulation of the space conditions, because the space is a model of accelerate aging. So this technology allows us to diagnose and intervene with high precision without a need to wait for long term. Like in any industry, it is essential to be backed by science, to be honest, update, and practical. Honesty implies not to be afraid to say, I don't know when we don't know. It's perfectly aligned with the use of the science. Evidence-based seems to be something easy to implement in the clinic, but really it is difficult to make decisions about what is right to do, and sometimes more important, what not to do. Sure. Because there is a lack of consensus. The science grows rapidly. Keep update is challenging. But yes, it's not only about to be sure about the validation behind the science you are going to use, but together with the consideration of the need for high ethical standards and privacy of the data you're managing. And so in a clinical setting, you have to consider more things. And on top of that, not harm, sometimes not to intervene can be considered a harm. So lastly, pragmatism. I am an old-fashioned mother of 6 kids, fully in love with my husband, so pragmatism is needed for personal purposes. But in a clinical setting also, it's relevant to consider cost efficiency if you want to have a high impact and long-term engagement with clients. Well, the final comment is that at Peer Health, the leading team in longevity is fully aligned with all these values, so I feel proud to collaborate with this amazing team that will provide health to the nation. I hope and probably data will show it sooner than later.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your extensive response. I'm having a curiosity with regards to the clinical trials in longevity. As you mentioned, part of it would be perhaps intervention on epigenetic factors. Would you be able to detail a little bit on what kind of clinical trials, or if there is any clinical trials for epigenetic factors, let's say looking into methylation and reverse methylation processes?
I don't understand the question, sorry.
So the question is on the clinical trial side, whether we have any longevity related, specifically on epigenetic methylation-based processes.
Depending on the budget you have for a clinical trial, of course, the more data you have, the better. There is a tendency to analyze all the omics before to having a baselining and tracking. In longevity, usually functional testing is fundamental, accessible, and very important because that's what the client feels. So you can say your proteomic profile is amazing, but if the client cannot sleep, it has zero impact in his life, so he will be not engaged with any trial or intervention. So you have to keep aligned, not just with science, but with people and the priorities they have. Common sense is convenient, not too easy.
Absolutely, and I believe what is best to say is that it's an ecosystem, our body, so we can't take only one element in consideration when we run clinical trial. It's more of an overall look of the health, lifestyle, medication, and all the other aspects, including genomics, proteomics, just to bring it to one conclusion.
Yes, always. The more realistic approach, the better. But for research, you have to separate bias. So you have to have a single intervention, otherwise you don't know the outcomes, where it's coming from. But as the prices go down, everyone will have the right and access to measure every omic, I guess.
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. And that's what we at DNA Longevity are doing, actually providing genetic counseling and testing and helping individuals to understand their genomic makeup and perhaps prevent some of the disease. So I think we can go on and on this conversation, particularly on this topic, but I think we have to go further with Dr. Iman. I'm going to address the question with regards to the potential long-term effect on certain aesthetic treatments, and what is the perspective on this risk, and particularly how the professionals are approaching this risk.
Thank you for this opportunity to talk about these important topics. While aesthetic treatments enhancing our beauty and our life quality, it's important to approach this treatment in conservative with responsibility and caution, because there's a lot of factors can increase this potential or delayed reaction of this treatment or make it less. So the most important things is the consultation, the communication between the doctor and the patient. The first visit, it has to be detailed, because the single information, it matters to change or to put our treatment plan. There's a lot of medical condition. It can be a contraindication for some treatment. So if the client didn't mention or the doctor, he didn't take these details, they put him or her on the risk to have these delayed reactions. Like some treatment can trigger the immunity. So there's a lot of autoimmune disease. It's contraindication to do it. There's also like the IV drips, these trends, like the NAD Plus. Not every single treatment it's fit for all patients. We have to, there is a blood test you have to do it. We have to rule other conditions like the liver disease, autoimmune disease, cancer disease, or the history of cancer, because we can harm the client and put him on the risk. So always the doctor should be conservative and deliver any kind of treatment in safest way. This is the most important thing, the communication. Then we have to deliver this treatment wherever it is in safest way by using some tools, make it safer. The aesthetic medicines with time, like other specialties, it improved, and we became better with time by learning our mistake, by improving our choosing of the product and all. And the concept of longevity is changed and shifted from using a long-term or material with higher risk or delayed reaction, and we replace it with temporary material with it's effective but with less risk. So in my perspective, while treating my patients, is the less is more. Even if I'm using this good material or temporary material, if I overuse this material, I will put them also at risk and end it by bad results. So this is a part of the question, the first part.
No.
The patient should navigate this risk by looking for the high expert doctor, and don't look to the beautiful result only. We have to look into the natural, healthy result. And it's common now with people, they take their information through the social media, and they have to know, unfortunately, not all what is mentioned in the social media, it's right. There's a lot of misconception, and unfortunately people, they rely on the social media. So they can navigate by dig more with the researches and keep up to date and check in each treatment what is a possible side effect. And then how our colleague or our doctor navigate this by keep up to date and follow the least researches, because the researchers, on the other hand, they provide us with the newest treatment and how we deal with complication. So when we're choosing the practitioner or the doctor who is delivering the treatment, not only the good doctor that will give you the result, also how to deal with this complication in case it's happened, because some complication, it can happen currently or delayed after years. The following up also with the client is important to manage any possible delayed reaction can be happens. So with all this consideration, we can navigate those risks and promote healthier, longer life, of course.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And you mentioned the NAD Plus supplementation.
Yes.
And I know you're providing that within your clinic. I'm assuming that this is one type of intervention that has to be well scrutinized, so patient will be first interviewed and making sure that they don't have any condition or precondition, and also the level of NAD Plus needs to be well altered to the individual needs. So that's one aspect I'm hoping that is happening. I haven't done this treatment before, but I'm thinking overall as a supplementation, it's important to have the matrix and the measuring before and after to make sure that it's personalized to the individual's needs.
This is what we have to consider, the consultation, to make a full checkup, to make sure he's the right candidate for the right treatment to apply on it. So with the NAD, you know that the NAD, it can, it's repairing our cells and the DNA, but also there is the cells, like cancerous cells, also it can be activated. Still under studies, it's not proven yet, but we have to.
It's late.
Too late, huh?
No,
Finished?
it's okay. Finish your sentence.
Yes. So that's what my concept is. Not every treatment is good for all. We have to choose the right candidate.
Although it's
to
selective.
Yes, to avoid all the side effects, even the delayed one.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. All of you have been contributing to this panel, great input, and I hope the audience has enjoyed this conversation as well. Thank you so much once again, and thank you.